For this lesson, we will be discussing about the theorems on central angles, arcs, chords, and inscribed angles. Okay? So, the first theorem that we will be discussing is about central angles. Sabi dito, in a circle or in congruent circles, two minor arcs are congruent if and only if their corresponding central angles are congruent. So, dito muna tayo sa in a circle. Sa isang circle daw, for example, this circle, it is named as circle X. Diba? Ganito tayo ganito yung symbol na circle. So, circle, tapos may dot sa gitna. So, in circle X, angle AXC, this is angle AXC, is equal to 50 degrees. Diba? Ito daw yung given. Given na siya, ng 50 degrees. And angle BXD is also 50 degrees. So, dahil pareho silang 50 degrees, masasabi natin na angle AXC is congruent to angle BXD. Kasi, pareho ang kanilang measurement. So, dahil congruent na sila based sa theorem natin, therefore, their corresponding minor arcs or intercepted arcs are also congruent. Ano ba ang intercepted arc ng angle AXC? Ang intercepted arc niya is arc AC. Right? Tapos sa angle BXD, ang intercepted arc is arc BD. So dahil congruent sila, therefore, this arc AC is also congruent to arc BD. Ano ang symbol for congruency? Ito po. Yan. Equal, tapos merong parang ganyan sa taas. Okay? So, therefore, ang arc AC is congruent to arc BD. So, mamaya natin to isasama, yung arc EF. Pero alamin muna natin, bakit ba naging congruent ang arc AC at arc BD? Diba? Sa central angles, sabi natin dun sa theorem about central angles, kung ano ang measurement ng central angle mo, yun din ang measurement ng intercepted arc niya. So, kung 50 degrees to, automatically, this arc also measures 50 degrees. So, kung 50 degrees din to, automatic 50 degrees din to. So, kitang-kita naman, magkapareho ng sukat ang arc AC at arc BD. Therefore, you can conclude na congruent ang arc AC at arc BD. So, tama yung sinasabi ng theorem. Ngayon, paano naman? In congruent circles, two minor arcs are congruent if and only if their corresponding central angles are congruent. Kaya, class, may if and only if dito, kahit magkabaliktad yung premise natin and conclusion, true pa rin siya. So, ibig sabihin, kahit na ito yung given, arc AC is congruent to arc BD. Therefore, automatic congruent pa rin yung corresponding angles nila. So, dito naman sinasabi na incongruent circles. For example, given na ang circle X natin, ito, is congruent to circle Y. Ito yung circle Y natin. So, kung congruent sila at kitang-kita naman na yung angle EYF, which is a central angle, is also 50 degrees. Therefore, masasabi natin na yung arc EF, ito, is also congruent to arc AC and arc BD. Okay? So, yan yung theorem on central angles. Now, let's proceed with another theorem on arcs and chords. Diba? Ang arc is a part of a circle, while chord is a line segment that connects two points on the circle. So, dito, in a circle or in congruent circles, two minor arcs are congruent if and only if their corresponding chords are congruent. For example, dito muna tayo sa circle A. Sa circle A, meron tayong two chords. Chord HO and chord PE. Diba? Line segment HO and line segment PE. If given na ang chord HO mo is congruent to chord PE or line segment PE, ito yung symbol for congruent, yan, kapag sa lines. Ibig sabihin, yung corresponding minor arcs nila, minor arcs, ito, minor arc kasi diba less than 180 degrees. So, ito yung arc corresponding to line segment HO. So, kung makita nyo, arc HO for chord HO, then dito sa line segment PE na to, ito naman yung corresponding arc niya. So, arc PE. Therefore, sabi dito, kung congruent daw yung dalawang chord, ibig sabihin, congruent din yung minor arcs nila. Nanggagets ba? O, what if ganito? Lagyan natin ng measurement. For example, this is 5 centimeters. And this is also given as 5 centimeters, yung line segment PE and line segment HO. Tapos ito, given na 30 degrees, yung arc HO. Tinatanong, what is the measure of arc PE? So, dahil congruent ito, magkasing haba, automatic na yung minor arc nila ay magkasing sukat din or congruent. So, this is 30 degrees, automatically yung arc PE mo is also 30 degrees. Okay? Yun yung sinasabi ng ating theorem. So, dito sabi naman, incongruent circle. So, for example, circle A is congruent to circle B. Ito yung circle B, di ba? Tapos, sasabihin natin na this is also 5 centimeters. Ibig sabihin, ang ating chord XY is congruent to line segment PE and line segment HO. Kasi magkakasing haba, 5 cm, 5 cm, 5 cm. So, tinanong, what is the measure of arc XY? Anong measure nito? Automatic, the measure will also be 30 degrees. Kasi congruent dapat lahat ng mga minor arcs ng magkakasing haba na chord. Okay? Okay, another theorem on arcs and chords. Number 3 na to, pangatlo. In a circle, a diameter bisects a chord and an arc with the same endpoints if and only if it is perpendicular to the chord. Anong ibig sabihin nun? For example, dito sa ating circle P. Yan, circle P. Diba? Kasi ito yung center. Meron tayong diameter na, alin ang diameter natin? Ito, line segment YW. YW is the diameter kasi points on the circle tapos dumaan sa center. So, diameter yan. And, ano ang chord natin dito? Actually, YW is also a chord, pero specifically, diameter siya. So, alin dito yung chord na hindi diameter? Ito, XZ. So, yung XZ is our chord. Ngayon, sabi natin, if these two, so, ilagay natin dito. So, if line segment YW is perpendicular to line segment XZ. Ito yung symbol ng perpendicular class Diba? Pag sinabi natin perpendicular lines, nakakabuo ng right angle. Kaya nga meron kayong nakita ditong symbol. Itong maliit na box na yan is a symbol for right angle. Then, dahil kung halimbawa perpendicular daw sila sa isa't isa, yung diameter at yung chord perpendicular sa isa't isa, therefore, yung line segment XV is congruent to line segment VZ. Asan yun? Ito, XV, itong line segment na to, is congruent to line segment VZ. Ito yung symbol natin pag congruent yung dalawang line, di ba? So, dahil binabisect niya, itong diameter na to, binisect niya yung chord. Pag sinabing bisect class, hinahati into two equal parts. So, kung itong diameter na to, hinati niya yung chord XC into two equal parts. Therefore, syempre, yung nahating chord ay equal sa isa't isa. At, syempre, yung corresponding arc nila, which is XY, arc XY, is congruent to arc YZ. Okay? So, yun yung sinasabi ng theorem natin. For example, if the diameter bisect line segment XZ, if XZ is equal to 20 centimeters, for example, 20 centimeters yan, at yung arc XZ is, for example, 60 degrees. Measure the measure of arc XZ and the measure of line segment XZ. Yan. So, kung 20 centimeters to, from point X to point Z, 20 centimeters yan, yung chord na yan. Pero binisect siya ng diameter na to, ibig sabihin, the measurement of line segment XV, ito, from this point to this point, is only 10 centimeters. And yung VZ, from point V to point Z, that is also 10 centimeters. Dapat equal sila sa isa't isa. At sabi natin, yung measure ng ating arc XZ is 60 degrees dahil nga binisect. Pag sinabing bisect, hinati into two equal parts. Yung arc XZ, automatically, ito, XY is equal to 30 degrees. Hahatiin mo siya into 2, 60 divided by 2. And this will also be equal. Ito, arc XZ is also equal to 30 degrees. Okay? Yun yung sinasabi ng ating third theorem. Okay, next is the arc addition postulate. The measure of an arc formed by two adjacent arcs is the sum of the measure of the two arcs. Ano bang adjacent arcs? Pag sinabi nating adjacent arcs, these are the arcs with exactly one point in common. For example, in circle E, yan, circle C. Kasi C yung center natin. Arc QR, itong arc QR, and arc ER are adjacent. Okay? Bakit sila adjacent? Kasi meron silang one common point. So, kung merong isang point na namamagitan sa kanila, therefore, they are adjacent. Or simply, magkatabi sila. Okay? Ito, magkatabi sila. So, adjacent arc sila. So, sabi dito, the measure of an arc formed by two adjacent arcs is the sum of the measure of the two arcs. For example, itong arc QR mo, the measure of arc QR is 82 degrees. Tapos, yung measure ng arc ER is 74 degrees. Tinanong sa'yo yung measure ng arc URE. Saan yung arc URE? URE. Yung isang buo na yan. Therefore, ang gagawin mo lang is to add the measurements. So, 82 degrees plus 74 degrees, that will be equal to 156 degrees. So, that is the measure of arc URE. 156 degrees. So, pinag-add mo lang. Okay? Okay, then theorems on inscribed angles. If an angle is inscribed in a circle, then the measure of the angle equals 1/2 the measure of its intercepted arc. Actually, na-discuss na natin to doon sa two kinds of angles, di ba? Yung inscribed angle. So, dito sa circle O natin, angle ABC is an inscribed angle. Bakit? Kasi yung vertex niya is a point on the circle, tapos ang sides niya ay chords. So, sinasabi lang dito na yung measure ng arc AC, kalahatiin mo, yun yung measure ng angle ABC. For example, if the measure of arc AC is 40 degrees, what is the measure of angle ABC? Measure of angle ABC. Anong measure niya? 40 degrees daw to. So, kakalahatiin mo, automatically, that is 20 degrees. Okay? So, kung ito naman yung given, for example, 15 degrees, ito times 2 mo naman para makuha mo yung arc AC, which will become 30 degrees. Okay? Kukuha ba? Okay, next theorem. If two inscribed angles of a circle intercept congruent arcs or the same arc, then the angles are congruent. Anong sinasabi niyan? For example, dito, sa given natin, dito muna tayo sa letter A. Sa circle O, makikita natin meron tayong dalawang inscribed angle. Meron tayo, hindi lang pala dalawa, actually, ilan to? Isa, dalawa, tatlo, apat. Pero, kung halimbawa natin is yung angle ABD, this one, ABD. Ito. And The other one is angle ACD. ACD. This one. Yan. For example, ito ay 20 degrees. At ito rin ay 20 degrees. Ibig sabihin, congruent sila. If the two inscribed angles are congruent, therefore, yung intercepted arcs nila are also congruent. Diba? So, dito class, makikita nyo, angle ABC, alin ang congruent arc niya? Sorry, ABD pala. Ang congruent arc niya is arc BD. Okay? So, ito yung congruent arc niya. Yan. Para sa, angle ABD. Ano naman ang congruent arc ng angle ACD? ACD. The intercepted arc pala. Mali yung term ko. The intercepted arc of angle ABD is arc AD. Right? Tapos, yung intercepted arc naman ng angle ACB or ACD is also arc AD. So, ito rin. Yan. So, dahil pareho lang naman sila na na-intercept na arc, therefore, isa lang ang measurement ng arc AD. Diba? Kung ito ay 20 degrees, ano magiging measurement ng arc niya? Kasi inscribed angle siya. So, ito times 2 mo lang. 20 times 2, this will become 40 degrees. Okay? So, baliktarin natin yung premise natin on the latter part. Okay? So, for example, arc AD, this arc AD is 40 degrees. Makikita mo na ang inscribed angle niya ay dalawa. Ito at ito. Therefore, same measurement lang sila. Basta tatandaan nyo class, pag pareho yung intercepted arc nila, therefore, magkapareho din yung measurement ng angles mo. So, for example, another example in letter B, itong angle UZV and angle XYW. For example, the measure of their arcs. Halimbawa, yung arc naman yung given. Halimbawa, ang arc nito ay 50 degrees. Yung arc UV, 50 degrees. Ito, arc UV, 50 degrees. Tapos yung arc XW is also 50 degrees. Dahil pareho sila, therefore, masasabi natin na yung arc UV and arc XW are congruent. So, dahil congruent sila, automatic, congruent din yung inscribed angles nila. So, kung ito ay 50 degrees, i-divide mo siya by 2. So, 50 divided by 2 will become 25 degrees. Automatic, 25 degrees din to. Okay? So, yun yung sinasabi na if two inscribed angles of a circle intercept congruent arcs or the same arc, then the angles are congruent. Number 7. If an inscribed angle of a circle intercepts a semicircle, then the angle is a right angle. So, in this figure, in the given circle O, angle SPT. Asan yun? SPT. So, ito yun. Itong angle na to, intercepts arc SRT. Ano yun? Sorry, meron pa palang point ditong R. Okay? So, ini-intercept niya daw ang arc SRT. SRT. Paano niya na-intercept? Diba ito yung angle mo? Ito yung angle mo. Asan yung dalawang dulo mo or dalawang endpoints mo nandito? So, ngayon, yung na-intercept niya na arc is a semicircle. Diba? This is a diameter. Diameter yan. So, ang na-intercept niyang arc is a semicircle. So, kapag semicircle, ano ang degree ng semicircle natin? Ano ang measure ng arc SRT? Diba? SRT, ito. Semicircle. So, anong measure ng semicircle? That's correct. 180 degrees. Diba sabi natin sa inscribed angle, makukuha mo yung measure ng angle na to by dividing the measure of the intercepted arc by 2. So, the measure of angle SPT, 180 divided by 2 is 90 degrees. Ano ba yung 90 degrees? That is the measure of a right angle. So, imbis na ganito yung symbol mo kapag right angle, Ganito yung magiging symbol ng right angle class, ha. Para siyang pa-box na maliit. Yan. So, angle SPT is a right angle. Okay? For the last theorem, if a quadrilateral is inscribed in a circle, then its opposite angles are supplementary. So, pag sinabi natin quadrilateral, it is a polygon with 4 sides. So, kung meron ka daw quadrilateral na naka-inscribe, ibig sabihin nasa loob ng circle, ito. Then, its opposite angles are supplementary. Pag sinabi natin supplementary class, pag pinag-add mo daw yung dalawang angles, dapat mag-equal siya sa 180 degrees. So, sabi dito, sa example natin, quadrilateral, MAHT. Bakit 4 letters? Kasi quadrilateral, 4 yung points niya. Okay? Is inscribed in circle O. So, nandito sila sa loob ng circle O. Therefore, yung opposite angles must be supplementary. For example, the measure of angle AMT, asan yun? AMT, ito, plus the measure of angle, asan yung opposite niya, yung katapat niya, AHT. AHT must be equal to 180 degrees. Okay? Dapat equal siya sa 180 degrees. Ano pa? Measure of angle MAH plus the measure of angle, anong opposite niya? Ito, MTH must also be equal to 180 degrees. Kasi nga daw supplementary. So, for example, this is 70 degrees. Ano magiging measurement nito? So, opposite sila, di ba? So, dapat pag pinag-add mo to at ito, 180 degrees. So, dahil given yung isa, ang gagawin mo, 180 minus 70, this will become 110 degrees. Okay? Nagigets ba? Ngayon, pag tinanong, what is the measure of this arc? Ito, RTMA. Anong measure niyan? RTMA. So, ano ba yung inscribed angle niya? Ito yung dalawang point, di ba? Ito yung dalawang endpoint ng arc. So, saan nagkatagpo? Dito. Sa point H. Ibig sabihin, ito yung inscribed angle na tinutukoy. So, itong inscribed angle na to, para makuha yung intercepted arc niya, yung measure ng intercepted arc niya, anong gagawin? You multiply it by 2. So, 110 times 2, that will become 220 degrees. Okay? Tapos, ano magiging measurement nito? Point A or arc AHT. Itong kabila. So, anong inscribed angle niya? Ito. Diba? A tapos T. Ito. Yan. So, this is 70 times 2. This will become 140 degrees. Dapat pag pinag-add mo, kasi isang buong circle na siya, 220 plus 140 will become 360 degrees. Okay? So, dapat alam niyo yung mga basic na theorems or properties, postulates about circles para kapag nag-answer kayo ng problem about circles, madali lang sa inyo. Okay? So, that's the theorem. Or those are the theorems related to chords, arcs, central angles, and inscribed angles.